a small glass house on a hillside, a storm coming up the valley, and one long night with the power gone. Listen for the moment she stops giving things marks out of 5. Off we go. The last tray came down the bench at 7 minutes to 8. Thea Voss graded it the way she graded everything 3, 3, 2, 4, 3, and reached for the next one. There was no next one. She looked up. The driver was standing in the far doorway with both hands on the frame, and behind him the whole valley had gone out. The road, the houses strung along it, the 2 street lamps at the bottom of the slope. Then the glass house lights went too, all at once, and the rain came over the low roof in one long push and stayed. 14 years Thea had worked in this house. She had never once been in it after dark. They went out into it. The wind was coming straight up the valley off the water, and the old house brick to the knee white wooden bars above it, a ridge you could touch on tiptoe, was taking it all on the long side. 2 vents had lifted. Thea wedged them while Merk held the torch, and the rain went sideways through the beam. Merk had backed the tray lorry up to the doors at 7:30 and was not going to get it out again. He asked, twice, whether they should try the road anyway. Down that road, in this. So that was settled. They were in for the night. Inside, the dark did what dark does in a glass house. It took the roof away. For want of anything better to do, Thea sat down on an upturned crate with her back against the brick and waited for her eyes. 14 years of trays. 5 seconds a plant, 8 hours a day, leaf count, color, stem, root showing at the edge of the pot, and a number 1 to 5 before her hand had finished moving. It was second nature. She was the fastest grader in the house, and by some distance the steadiest. The growers upstairs set their season by her numbers. 5 seconds. In 14 years, she had never looked at anything in this building for longer. 4 expressions before the night gets long. The small hours, 1, 2, 3 in the morning, with the roads empty and the machines stopped. Thea is about to spend the small hours awake, on a crate in the dark. Second nature, so practiced that you do it without thinking. Grading a tray in 5 seconds was second nature to her. At close quarters, very near, close enough to touch. She has never looked at this house at close quarters after dark. And resist the urge to do something, to stop yourself doing the very thing you want to do. Hold on to that last one. In about an hour, she is going to need it. By 12:30, the storm had stopped being interesting. It hammered, and they let it hammer. Merk slept sitting up, chin down, hood still on. Thea did not sleep at all. Somewhere in the small hours, she could not afterwards say when, and it mattered to her later that she could not. The wood began to show. Not the torch was off, saving what was left of it. This came up out of the timber itself. A low green light, cold as pond water, running in a broken line along the underside of the wooden bars, strongest where the paint had gone and the wood had softened with 40 winters of damp. Thea sat forward, then she stood up, then she did not move at all. She went the length of the bench with her face a hand's breadth from the wood, at close quarters, which she had never once been with this building, and it did not behave like anything she had a word for. It had no center. It threw nothing down onto the pots beneath it. When she cupped both hands around a patch of it, the light went on quietly inside the cup. When she opened her hands, it was exactly where it had been. 14 years had trained one movement into her, and the movement wanted out. Look, decide, put a number on it next. She raised her hand to touch the wood. Then she resisted the urge and let the hand fall and simply looked at close quarters for the first time in her adult life. Merk woke at some point and said, from the floor, with no fuss in his voice whatever, "Is it meant to do that?" "No." "Right," a pause. "Is it dangerous?" "I don't think so." "Right," said Merk. He got up, came over, and sat on the brick beside her, and that was the whole of the conversation for the best part of 2 hours. Once, early on, Merk tried his phone. The screen handed back a black rectangle with 2 gray smears in the corner. Nothing, less than nothing. He looked at the picture, and then up at the wood, and then he put the phone in his pocket and left it there. "You can't send it to anybody," he said. "You just have to be here. 4 more, while the 2 of them sit." defy explanation to be impossible to explain, however hard anyone tries. What is in that wood defies explanation, and neither of them attempts one. For want of something, only because that one thing was missing. For want of a working light, they have the whole night in the dark. On the strength of something, because of that one thing and nothing else. People do change their lives on the strength of a single night. And the best part of something, very nearly all of it. They sit there the best part of 2 hours without speaking. Now notice what is not happening. Nothing is being tested. Nothing is being solved. Nobody is going to be proved right. It went the way it had come, without an edge to it. By 4 there was less. By 5 she could not tell whether she was seeing it or remembering it, and she made herself stop deciding. First light came gray over the ridge and took the last of it, and the house was a house again. White bars, brick to the knee, 40 trays of seedlings, a floor that wanted sweeping. The best part of 6 hours, and she had nothing in her hands to give anybody. It defied explanation, and this was the new part, she let it go on defying explanation. She did not reach for a reason and would not take a poor one. By her own reckoning, she had graded close to 1 million plants. She had never before been unable to put a number on a thing. The power came back at 8 with a thump, and by 9 the valley road was open and the yard was full of ordinary noise. A lorry reversing, somebody dragging branches into a heap. On the office desk, a letter had been waiting a week. The growers wanted her upstairs planning, ordering, an office of her own over the yard, better money, and never a tray in front of her again. It was the obvious next thing. Everyone had said so at Christmas, and she had let everyone say it. Down the corridor somebody had already started the grading line without her. She stood and listened to the pace of it. 5 seconds. 3, 3, 2, 4, 3. She turned the letter face down and went out to find the head grower in the wet, storm rubbish still round his boots. She said nothing at all about the wood. She said she wanted the night round instead, the propagation house, the low shed where cuttings are started, 10 at night until 6, the round nobody keeps for long. She had to say it twice, because the first time he was certain he had misheard her. On what grounds? I want to be in that house at 3 in the morning. It cost her the office and 1/5 of her pay, and she did it on the strength of one night she could not describe to him and did not try to. Merck caught her at the gate. Will it come back? I've no idea, Thea said. That's the arrangement. So, a last tray at 7 minutes to 8, a valley that went out, and 2 people shut into a small wooden glasshouse all night. A green line of light along the underside of the bars, sometime in the small hours, that defies explanation and is never given a name. A photograph that came out black. 6 hours in which the fastest grader in the house gave nothing a number. And then, at 9 the next morning, a letter turned face down. 2 questions before we close. First, what actually changes in this story, the wood or the woman watching it? Second, when did you last look at something for longer than the job required? Answer both aloud, in full sentences. No answer arrives here, and that is on purpose. Nobody names the light. The question is left standing, and not for want of anyone asking it, Merck is still asking. But Thea's own decision is not left standing at all. She moved her working life onto the hours in which the thing might happen again, and paid for it in money. Now the language. Take the 8 expressions into your own week. Name one thing that is second nature to you. Say what you resisted the urge to do yesterday. Say what you would change your life on the strength of. Language you have aimed at your own life stays with you. Language you have only heard does not. Another one is a click away, a different country, an older story, a narrator with far less patience. Start it and subscribe so the next night finds you.